Page 49 in your notes, I just want to point out one thing before we get started on your formula sheet. So on your formula sheet, the definition of n factorial is on your formula sheet. So n factorial will be n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 all the way to 3, 2, 1. They also show 0 factorial is equal to 1. N is an element. What does that n right there mean? N is an element of the natural numbers. And what are natural numbers? Counting numbers. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll notice the formula for permutations and combinations there. Okay? So, NPR is n factorial over n minus r factorial. And then NCR, n factorial over n minus r factorial times r factorial. And they also show you that our combination can be written in two ways. If they're talking about the combination of n objects, choose r of them, we can write it either way. So all of that's on your formula sheet. And this is the formula sheet you get for your test and your diploma. The exact same one for your diploma exam. Okay, so that is on there. And we're going to review, we're going to learn, use these formulas today. So it's handy to have them on. If you have your blue formula sheet, you might want to have that out. Otherwise, I think there's extras in the bucket at the back. Otherwise, I can print more off later on. Okay? So on 2.8, if you have a multiple choice type question, how might you solve this one? It says find the value of n if n plus 4 pick 3 equals 336. Well, really quickly, we know you can't pick more objects than you have, right? So n would have to be greater than or equal to what number? Well, let's put it this way. N plus 4 has to be greater than or equal to 3. Would you agree with that? That this over here, how many objects we have, has to be at least equal to or more than the number of objects we pick. Yeah, you can't pick out more or arrange more objects than you have. How do you arrange 6 objects if you only have 5 of them? Okay, so rearranging for n, how do I get n by itself there? I subtract 4 to both sides. And so we know our n value has to be greater than or equal to -1 in this case. Okay, if it was equal to -1, then we'd have 3 objects. So those are the restrictions on n here. Okay, our n value we know has to be greater than or equal to 1. Now, if I have a multiple choice question, the easiest way to solve it would be to do what? Plug the values in, okay? So if n is 2, how many objects would we have? If n is 2, how many total objects would we have? 6. It'd be 6, pick 3. So let's try that in our calculators. We could use the formula, but if we can, let's grab our calculators. Up. All right, 6, math, left arrow, and number 2. And then 3. Is that equal to 336? No. So the next one, if n is 3, how many objects would we have? It would be 3 plus 4, or 7, pick 3. So let's try that one. Now, instead of typing this all in, again, what could you do on your calculator? Second, enter, and then just go back and change that to 7. And you don't have to go through all the work. 210, so it's not that one. Okay, if n was 4, we'd have 4 plus 4, or 8, pick 3. Let's try that one. So sometimes that is the best strategy, 336. So there's our solution. Okay, but there is a way to solve these algebraically, some of these. Okay, let's look at the next guy. Okay, let's talk about our restrictions because we don't want to waste time. So we start by setting the left side, n minus 1, has to be what? Greater than or n to be equal to the number of objects you're arranging? Yeah, greater than or equal to 6. So n has to be greater than or equal to what? 7. Add 1 to both sides. N is greater than or equal to 7. So if it's not a multiple choice, we just saved ourselves time because we're going to start at n equals 7. So now let's start at, so we're going to try now n equals 7, then n equals 8, then n equals 9 until we get our solution. That's one way to solve these if we don't want to solve it algebraically. Okay, so starting with n equals 7, if I plug in n equals 7, 7 minus 1 would give me 6, pick 6. How many ways can I arrange 6 objects? Out of, if I'm going to use all 6 of them, 6 math, left arrow, number 2, and then 6. So 720. Is that our solution? No. So now we're going to try n equals 8. So if n is 8, plugging in n, 8 minus 1, so if 8 minus 1, pick 6, or 7, pick 6. So we have 7 objects. We want to arrange 6 of them. Second, enter. It's the fastest way to bring it up. And then, because we just did that, 7, pick 6. And is that our solution? Yeah. So therefore, n is equal to, careful not to say 7. What's our n equal to? N was 8. Oh, that's supposed to be an 8. Okay, so that's one way to solve these. Okay, another way is algebraically. So let's do a quick review of some algebraic stuff. On the next page. Everyone got that down? Nope. Okay, wait a second. Good? Yeah? Okay. All right, so algebraically. Let's review this. Remember when we did this back? It's a while ago. When we solved algebraically, it was back in, I think, lesson 2.3 maybe? No, 2.2. It's back in 2.2. So where would I start with expanding? Which one would you expand first? Would you expand the top or the bottom in this case? Not sure? Remember, we expand the larger one. So who's larger, n minus 1 or n minus 2? N minus 1. So always expand the larger until we get to the smaller. So remember then factorial, we keep subtracting 1, right? 9 factorial would be 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So n minus 1 factorial would be n minus 1 times n minus, if I subtract 1 from that, what's left next? N or n minus 2? N minus 2 if I subtract 1. Can I stop though? Yeah, so I can write that as n minus 2 factorial instead of keep going as n minus 2, n minus 3, n minus 4, all over n minus 2 factorial equals 18. And now that we've done that, what cancels? N minus 2 factorial. Yeah, the factorials cancel. N minus 1 equals 18, so therefore, and 1, n is 19. Can we check our work? Yes. So if you want to do a check, you could just plug in your n value. So it would be 19 minus 1 factorial divided by 19 minus 2 factorial has to equal to 18. And so that means 18 factorial over 17 factorial, which if we expand 18, factorial will be 18 times 17 factorial, and the 17 factorials cancel out. So yes, left side equals right side. So, or you can just plug it in your calculator. Does 18 factorial divided by 17 factorial equal 18? Yes, you can do a check. Okay, let's try this one algebraically. How do you think we'd start this if I wanted to solve this algebraically? What would we have to change right off the bat to a different form? Okay, yeah, 6PR. 6PR needs to be, we need to use our formula. Remember that on your formula sheet, n pick r objects is n factorial over n minus r factorial. Okay, so we can change 6PR. So 6PR is equivalent to n factorial. Our n is what? 6. So 6 factorial divided by 6 minus r factorial equals 120. So we want to get everything with a variable on one side and everything without a variable on the other. Okay, so for example, 6 factorial, could that actually be evaluated as some number? Could we figure out what 6 factorial equals if we wanted to? Yeah, we can. So we want to get 6 minus r factorial by itself, and it can't be on the denominator. So our first step is to get it off the denominator. And how do we do that? Multiply both sides by. Okay. And so on the left side, these are going to cancel. We're just left with 6 factorial equals 120 times 6 minus r factorial. And now I want to get rid of the 120 because I want 6 minus r factorial by itself. How do I get rid of the 120? If it's 120 times 6 minus r factorial, divide both sides by 120. Okay, 6 factorial divided by 120. Could we figure out what that equals? Yeah, grab your calculators. Type that in. What is 6 factorial divided by 120? So remember, 6 factorial 6, math, left arrow number 4 is 6 factorial, and divide by 120. And we're left with, was it 7? Oh, 6. 6 equals 6 minus r factorial. Okay, where do we go from here? Well, we want to turn the left side into a factorial as well. So we have 1 factorial equals another factorial. So do you know what factorial equals 6? 3 factorial, yeah. So, but remember, 3 factorial is equivalent to 6 because it's 3 times 2 times 1. So we're going to rewrite this as 3 factorial equals 6 minus r factorial. And so now we can equate the insides, right? These are both factorials. So if 3 factorial is equivalent to 6 minus r factorial, 1, you can use logic to figure out what r is. Use your head. Or you could say, well, then therefore 3 equals 6 minus r. Because they're both factorials. And so if we want to do some algebra, we can do that. Or you can use your, like, 1, could you figure out, just like looking at this, what r would have to be? 6 minus what is going to give you 3? 3, right? So r is 3. Or if you want, you could go through all the work of minus 6 gives me negative 3 equals negative r, divide by negative 1, 3 is r. And there's our solution algebraically. R is 3. Could you check your answer? Yes. Go back to the original. 6 pick 3 has to equal 120. So we can type that in. Oh, I used choose. Math number 2 is 120, so that it does. So we want to change this into a factorial so we can equate the insides here. All right? All right, I need to make some changes to your homework. So if you look at the next page, okay, so it starts there, your assignment. This is good, this is good. Can you look at number 3 and 4? Can you solve them algebraically? Do you want to do one more together right now? Or you think you can handle it? Or do you want to just do it one more just to solidify it? Okay, well, we'll come back to this. Maybe I'll get you to try one, and then we'll go over it. Okay, also, if you turn the look on the next page there. So this C should be gone, formatting error. And if you look at the next page, go to page, there's an issue on page number 13. Okay, I changed the images, and then the questions I forgot to change what they are. So you'll see there's stars, scissors, thumbs up, I don't know, and a phone. And then all of a sudden it says how many arrangements are possible if the first and last must be a flower. So that is the scissors. Can you change that to scissors? Scissors. Okay. And the next question is good. And the last one that says umbrella, I took out the umbrellas, and they're supposed to be thumbs up. So on D, can you change umbrella to thumbs up? So B should be scissors, D should be, say, thumbs up. Okay, the solutions, I'll write the answers on the board if you like, but they're also on the website. So as you're working, you know if you're getting the right solution. Please show all your work, so you have lots of time in class today to get this done. If you finish, actually I'll give this out to you anyways, but if you finish, you can start working on your practice exam. So tomorrow we start, because our exam is this Friday, right? Friday, April 25th. Tomorrow we're actually starting the next unit. Thursday would be practice exam. Friday's your test. Okay? So just kind of give you an idea of the schedule for this week. Sounds good? No? Okay. Well, and then if you need an extra day tomorrow, we'll see how well if you need it. We can talk about having an extra work period maybe tomorrow too. Okay? Sound good?